Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Akta Sehgal Malhotra, founder and chief strategy officer, Motherhood Club. Today is a day where we celebrate the youth. Youth is someone who has a perspective of their own. They believe in carving out their own identity. They believe in challenging the stereotype. They believe in busting a lot of myth. But before I introduce our guest for the talk show today at the Motherhood Club, I would like to read out a few self composed lines which I feel befit the guest who is here today with us. So, like I said, I'm not going to introduce the guest before, but I'm going to read out these lines. So, allow me a moment to share it. And I'm just wondering which one is the most befitting for our guest today. All right. I think this one should. It's not always the truth what the naked eye see. Most of the times, it's a pretense. Pretends to smile when you are torn within. Pretends to shine when all you do is whine. Pretends to be someone else, someone you abhor. Pretends to succeed when you know you have failed. Pretends to love when you actually hate someone. Pretends to pretend for just about everything. Pretends to live when you are actually dying. Most of us live in pretense. Most of us put uh, another face in front of us when we are meeting, interacting with people. But some are brave who question that pretense and actually want to be who they are. Naina, a very warm welcome on a very cold day in Delhi NCR. Naina is a trans woman. She's a professional, she's a model, she writes well. She hails from Kerala, but at the moment she's based in Himachal. She is someone who is constantly reminding everyone about their identity, talking about the challenges that the humans who are part of the LGBTQ community face, their emotions, their pain, and how they are as human as any one of us. We all talk about diversity and inclusion, but really, does that happen? Today, Nana is here with us. And to give you all a little bit of a background, I happened to bump into Nana on a social media platform where I read her post, and that really wanted me to know her more. So, Nana, a very warm welcome to the Motherhood Club talk show. Giving birth to
Thank you so much.
yourself, what a powerful statement that is. But before we understand what it actually means, may I request you to introduce yourself a little more in detail as you alone can do justice to your own introduction. So, over to you.
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me over this platform and lending me a voice so that I could be heard loud and clear to a lot of people, and probably my message goes to a lot of people. And I hope I would be helpful in clearing a lot of doubts in the minds of people who are hearing me tonight. Um, to start with, I was born in Kerala, but I was brought up in the northern parts of the country. My father having a transferable job. Um, I've been very comfortable since childhood. I've never had issues of clothes or I've had a very comfortable childhood. But considering the gender issues in my head, I've always questioned myself since the childhood, and I've always been attracted to the clothes of the gender that I was, of the opposite gender that I was assigned at birth. And still, I was never troubled by the situation, since I used to um, keep myself very busy in sports, extracurricular activities, as well as academics. So this thing always lingered somewhere in my head, but I never really had an issue in the childhood. Uh, I grew up to be a happy kid, but yeah, I always had this thing in my mind. If there is something wrong with me, in the 90s, when I was in school, I finished my schooling in 2005, and I clearly remember till 2005 we didn't have much of internet facilities uh, in general. Like an average person usually didn't have internet connection, though I had internet connection, but uh, never really knew that internet would be having answers to my questions, the questions which I had regarding my gender identity. Uh, so college was a different scenario for me. I started growing up in school. I used to dress up. I used to try and dress up in my sister's clothes, in my mother's clothes, uh, of course secretly, and I was caught a few times too. But I think my parents just let it go, thinking it's a passing phase or something. Um, I was scolded also a few times, and I was probably grounded, if I remember correctly. And in college, I was able to explore a different side of me, a new persona, which actually gave birth to Nana, that I'm today. And I did pretty well. I did fairly well in college in my academics. I was lucky enough to be placed in four companies by the end of my engineering. And I had one of the best jobs that were available in my college at that time. I subsequently the joined the company and started working. But at that point of time, I had started recognizing myself in the mirror. The real me had started to come out, and that is the point when I started opening up to my friends slowly. And when I garnered some support from a few of my friends, I started opening up to more. I started opening up to strangers, people on social media. I made a profile of my real self and opened up to my family also after 5 years of working in the corporate sector. Family wasn't supportive, and by then I had already prepared a backup plan for myself uh, so that I could survive on my own without any help. And I was lucky enough that I didn't actually face that many problems which usually people do face. I mean, I was mentally strong somehow, and I knew that I myself have to support myself. I should not be expecting it from someone else. So my support center was deep inside me, and I was the one supporting myself each and every day. When I woke up, I used to just motivate myself to carry on like this, because I realized that I was living a life of lies, and I couldn't fake it anymore. And I was not getting the reflection of my real self when I used to see myself in the mirror. And that is what pinched me. And 90% of my energies were diverted to this thing, which had a blockade in my creative and my artistic frame of mind. And since the time I transitioned, I'm still in the phase of transition. I'm not transitioned completely, but I would say the way I'm living at the moment, I'm very happy. I'm very content, and though I'm not earning the same seven-figure salary at the moment, but I'm really happy. I have all the needs that I have. More than that, I'm very happy.
Hats off to you, because you looked at yourself in the mirror and you identified with the real you. Not many people can do that. It takes a lot of courage actually to do that. So Nana, when you were a child and you were secretly dress up like a girl, though you were a boy biologically by the way God had made you. Uh, what were the kind of resistance that you faced, and how did you deal with them? Because you mentioned that your mental strength has held you, keeps your head up, and you are who you are today. But as a child, how did you deal with it?
At that point of time, I just didn't know what to do or what to think, and it was just um, something like an attraction towards the feminine clothes. And I was like, why can't I wear that frock, or why can't I grow my hair long? Why can't I play the games that girls are playing of my age group? And this was there, but I was a very quiet and silent kid. And I think because of that, I never opened up to anyone during my childhood. Um, I somehow have a feeling that my parents would have noticed certain things in my behavior. That I used to love stuffed toys. I used to prefer buying stuffed toys over other things. And though I was involved in sports also, I used to buy a lot of sports equipment also. But there was a different kind of love towards soft toys and girly things. I used to love long hair. My mother knew it very well. So I think parents uh, can identify such pointers at a very early age itself. And parents are the ones that are the first people to respond to these things, and can help the child grow in a much better way, giving the child a much better environment. So what I missed was this environment. I didn't have a place to explore this side of me. Probably if this was recognized at an early age, I would have probably had a wonderful college life as a girl, which I really miss. And I really think that I miss those days, being a girl in the college. That's like something good, something big. And the issues that I faced were that I didn't have anyone to share these things with. I was like, uh, this is a taboo, and I might be looked down upon because I was good at certain things. I was good in academics. I was good in sports. I was good in extracurriculars. So I was like an all-rounder kind of kid, and a kid who's looked up to. If this kid does something which is non-polarizing, uh, I think people would take offense, and probably your parents would lose respect. These were the things what used to go on in my mind, which stopped me from having the freedom of being myself.
And unfortunately, that taboo, that stigma still exists. And I think there are many like you who are actually being brave to bring out your journey of challenges, pain, the emotions that you go through. And we have one of your soul sister, Vanessa from Singapore, who's here watching us, hearing this conversation. And Vanessa, I must tell you that Nana was mentioning to me that she's very, very appreciative of the fact that you are doing extremely good and working towards the LGBTQ community and also towards the women empowerment. And I think Nana also, ladies and gentlemen, has done a couple of work where she's been trying to create awareness about menstrual hygiene and how women need to take care of themselves during those 5 days on month basis. And I will be sharing those videos also with all of you. So Nana, an all rounder in college, sports, academics, right? Doing well with couple of jobs in hand, and an engineer by qualification, good job, everything happening perfectly fine. And then you decided to stand out and bring about that change. Why did you do that? What challenges did you face, the resistance? Because I understand that money is not everything. But having said that, to let go of a successful career, however short, it might have been at that time, but you did let it go.
See, as I said, it was it was a very conscious decision. It took me some time to go through it and um, balance the pros and cons of going through the transition and leaving everything behind, starting afresh. Um, the most important thing which impacted this decision was my happiness. Uh, I was not happy being a guy. So being a guy was like being like faking it for me. I was not comfortable having short hair. I was not comfortable in men's clothes. I was not comfortable in my body. I was just not comfortable. My body and my soul, I would say, were not in sync. I would, I always felt that there's something wrong with my body. Um, I had issues during puberty also. I, I'll never say that I had issues in my organs, but I had issues understanding myself during puberty also. And I would say these were the basic things that led from one thing to another. And when I started exploring myself in college and post college, I realized that there are people like me. I'm not alone. Till school, I used to think probably I'm alone. Like uh, I think I'm alone. I'm a I'm a specimen in the whole world. I'm the only specimen in the whole world who's like this, and there's no other guy who feels like this the way I feel, and I'm probably alone. That's what stopped me from sharing this with my parents, with my friends at that early stage. But now things are changing. People are coming out early, and there's a lot of awareness going on. So I think the present generation is in a much better state compared to mine. But yeah, there is room for a lot of improvement, not just for kids, but for parents also. They need to be aware of this fact, so that the things that I went through should not happen with another kid.
Very true. I think the sensitization has to happen at every level, be it the
Yeah.
parents, be it the society at large, be it at, you know, people who want to actually be who they are. The resistance is across the spectrum. And I think that sensitization can only happen when, people like you, Vanessa, and all the other soul sisters, they actually come out and talk about this and let go of the inhibitions. Of course, I'm sure it is a very painful process to go through. So Nana, in order to transit from being a man to a woman, and pardon my ignorance on this, I am sure there is a lot of mental trauma and an emotional turmoil along with the physical turmoil that you would have been through. And having spoken to a few more, I do realize that it does lead to a lot of mental challenges. How did you deal with it if you experience something like this? What would you want to convey for many others?
See, what I personally feel, you and probably many people may or may not agree. Everyone has their own struggle. For me, I had a certain type of struggle. For someone who's straight, uh, that person may be having a different kind of struggle. I started transitioning at a stage when I was educationally qualified. I was well set in a job, and I had this thing in mind that whatever happens, I won't have to sleep on the road. I would be earning somehow. I was that confident that even if I leave my job, even if my family leaves me, I'm capable enough to earn uh, bread for myself, and I can survive on myself. I was financially independent. I had good amount of bank balance at that time. I still have around 90-95% of it saved with me, which would probably help me in my rainy days. And this comes as a lesson to everyone who's stuck in the wrong body or who's opposed by their parents or something, that they should first try to be independent in their life. If they don't have any independence financially as well as job security, no one is going to listen to you if your parents do. So the mental, so coming over the mental stress, I would say uh, I started learning a lot of skills, developing new skills. I kept myself busy because when you start transitioning, there is a stage when you start growing your hair, when you start taking the hormones, the pills. So when this thing happens, your body starts to change, and there is a certain time, certain period when you look really like, to some people you would look really weird. So you won't go along well with the men's clothes, you won't go along well with the women's clothes. So this is a period when it really pinches you, and your confidence goes to the floor. And most of us lose the confidence of going out, visiting friends, or meeting people at this point of time. I didn't stop that. I continued meeting people. I continued going out. uh, I was like, see, if I've decided something, I have to live with it. If this makes me happy, the other person who doesn't know me, who's trying to judge me, doesn't have a role in my life, and his or her views don't matter to me. There was a point of time when the same period that I'm talking about, I went to Ambience Mall, Gurgaon, and there were a lot of middle-aged women. um, See, I have always considered women to be much more supportive to me than men. But that day, I realized that I was looking really different, and I was garnering a lot of attention. And there were a lot of women who were looking at me in a very strange manner, like, why is she here? Then they probably thought I must be from the third gender, and I must be someone who is from a poor community or not well educated. When they started, when I started speaking in English with the shopkeepers, the shop vendors, and all, they were really shocked that I could speak in a language in a much better way than they could. And it was a state of disbelief for them, that how could this person um, do better than me, or be a better person than me. Same thing happened in 2017 when I was coming back from Goa. I had taken a flight of Air Asia, and I remember the crew was very helpful. The security guards were very helpful. They didn't ask me much. They just looked at the photo, because the photo, the ID card was had designated me as male, and my male photograph was on the ID card, since I just started my transition. So they had no issues. Probably they might have seen people like me much before, but there were a set of people inside the airport who were thinking, and who were looking at me in such a way, that why is this person sharing the space with me? How dare she? So this was these are the problems that people face, and this brings in a lot of mental stress. Acceptance is very much needed to a person who's going through transition. And I think I was really strong, or probably I was very ignorant. I would say that I sailed through well during these times. There were times when I used to feel really bad, like maybe once in 6 months or something. I used to post something on one of the Facebook pages, And I used to ask if there is someone who could talk to me. And the last time this anxiety attack came was last year February, I guess. Since then I have not had an anxiety attack, but I would say in the last 5 6 years I have had anxiety attacks maybe about 3 4 times.
So basically, that fear of being alone, that makes
Exactly.
one anxious. Actually, what you're trying to say is something that a lot of us needs to internalize, that the moment we stop compartmentalizing ourselves, the moment we stop gender typing ourselves as male, female, or the third gender, and just look at each other as a human being, I think that is where the difference will happen. I'm going to bring here a recently launched movie, Chandigarh Kare Ashiki. I'm sure a lot of people would have watched that movie, and it is talking about a trans girl in that movie. Whatever the plot of the movie is, it's a typical Hindi movie where they've shown a love angle over there. But I think what is highlighted over there is that the change of gender did not make the person less empathetic or make the person less caring. On the contrary, she was just like any other human being would be, concerned, careful. And I think, again, care and concern, yes, a lot of people feel that, it's the women who have those characteristics. But even men have that. They also care and they're also concerned. They're also empathetic towards people. So I think let's stop stereotyping. Nidhi Bansal is saying confidence and your inner strength is what matters, and what you just shared with us, that during that transition phase, you actually went out. You actually caught so many eyeballs staring at you. But what you rightly said, Nana, that the education that you have, that independence, that confidence that you have, has actually helped you stand tall, right? And I think that's a very important lesson, again, I think, which is completely irrespective of the gender. And I, being a financial mentor, I would say that that is a very important aspect that Nana has spoken about, that you have to be financially sound to be able to take any important decision in life, especially a decision that you have been thinking about, and you are not very sure what would be the situation after that. And I think, a very practical approach you've taken. You made sure that you were confident, and at the same time you work towards your happiness. Parents play a very important role in our life, right? uh, and whoever I have had a chance to speak to, there has been a very strong resistance from parents. And the same was also showcased in the movie. Is it the same stereotyping that is engulfing us, that engulfs them, or is it something else?
I think the biggest villain in this whole thing is the societal norms though, that are present in the present scenario. I think parents always try to compete, having a competition of their kid with the others' kids. Kids sometimes, some parents try to maybe showcase their children as trophies, and that is where parents are actually going overboard. Uh, Parenting doesn't mean that the child has to bring success or glory to your family. Parenting means that you should be able to help the child grow in a manner that the child wants to. Also, imbibing good habits, good qualities, and teaching the child the difference between right and wrong. But right and wrong can always interfere in each other's garden. So It is basically parents should understand that there's nothing right or wrong in the whole world. If you're not hurting anyone, if you're not playing around with someone's emotions, if you're legit in your actions, it has to be something good. But if you're trying to hurt someone, if you're trying to steal, if you're trying to kill someone, if you're trying to hurt someone, that is bad. If you are trying to live the life that you want, suppose X is designated as a boy at birth, and this boy likes to wear skirts. There's no, there's nothing wrong. Like, the parents should support. Parents should say, okay, go ahead, wear skirts. We don't have an issue. But the parents should make the kid understand that it might have repercussions. The society is not ready for it. So, acceptance would definitely come from the parents first. First and foremost, the kid should accept himself or herself, and after that, the parents should take the next step to accept the kid. Once the parent accepts the kid, I think the society has nothing to do. If a parent stands by a kid saying, whatever it is, I'm standing by my kid, he or she has done nothing wrong to piss you off. So I think that would really encourage the child to grow in a much better manner. The child's energies would be diverted towards a positive thinking, towards positive learning, towards doing good in life. The child would feel free, and that is where the parents in the present scenario are missing out on positive growth of children.
Absolutely. And I think that's relevant, whether you have a child who has different identities or whatever the case may be. I think as a parent, you need to support the child and stand by the child no matter what the situation may be and apprise them of what could be the pros and cons, the repercussion to things. Uh, Nena, this question is more generic and not really specific to you. In the Indian society, we've always been in our growing years, we've always been made to feel afraid of the third gender, right? How does one overcome that?
Okay.
The To add on to that, I remember this incident, and I had also shared this with Vanessa in one of my conversations with her, that there was this third gender person who was unfortunately begging and for food, and this is many years back. And he spoke to my uncle, and my uncle said, "Okay, I'll give you some food, or I'll give you some money to buy food." He said, "Please," and the person was educated, and the only thing that the person said was that, "Don't give me money, don't give me food, just voice opinion for us that we are also allowed to work." Right? So how does that fear go? How does one accept that this is as real as it can be?
Okay, I didn't get it. You're asking about people accepting the third gender, or the people having the fear of the third gender, fear from the third gender, or
Fear,
the third?
acceptance, both. The fear, there is fear for sure, until and unless, and I would be upfront, until I spoke to Vanessa and I could understand her pain. Till then, I would rather avoid a conversation, or I would rather run away. But that's how, we have seen and we have been made to believe.
Yeah. See, there are all types of people that you have among men, among women, among the third gender. You'll find you'll find goodness in it. Just excuse me.
Sure. So we are in conversation with Naina Menon, who is sharing her personal journey and how she has been overcoming all the challenges that she has been facing, and how she has given birth to her own self. Yes,
Yeah.
Naina, back to you.
Sorry for the inconvenience. There was a call.
Not an issue.
So the thing is, there is goodness in everyone. There is like something which is not good in everyone. So I have had my share of bad experiences with the third gender. I was questioned by someone from the third gender that why I was sitting at that place, and I was asked to join them, and they said, "Are you real or are you fake?" So in their definition, there is a gap between the real and the fake. Fakes are the ones who are just in the getup of a woman and trying to probably earn arms or something. The real ones are the ones actually facing the issues, facing the everyday issue of earning money and living a decent life. So I would say people need to understand. Uh, People need to understand again the difference between good and the bad. Anyone can be good, anyone can be bad. I've had good experiences with the third gender too. One I've had one uh, one trans woman in Gujarat who had helped me through certain period in my life, probably about 5 6 months, and I'm really thankful to her. She had found me on at a railway station, and she had asked me, "Beta, kahan ja rahe ho?" So I told her that I'm just roaming around, and she said, uh, "तुम किसी के साथ हो या अकेले हो?" And that was the point of time when I was just dressing up in women's clothes. I was still exploring. I was working. I was having a full-time job, and that's when uh, I met her, and she asked me, "क्या करने आए हो?" And she was very decent. That was probably the first time I had a very decent conversation with someone from that gender. And she said, "अभी क्या करना है आपको?" I had no clue, and I just said that मैं बस घूम रही हूँ, मुझे बस घूमना है. And roaming around dressed up as a girl was something really different for me. It used to make me feel myself, and it was something like a getaway for me from my confused life, and it really helped me. And when I found her, I just told her, "दीदी मुझे आपके साथ बस चलना है." So she said, "आपको मेरे पास रहना है या कुछ और?" I just told that मैं आपके साथ कुछ टाइम बिताना चाहती हूँ, बस आपके साथ मुझे चल. So she was so matured. She might have been in her early 30s or something. She was so matured. She told me कि बेटा मैं ट्रेन में पैसे लेने जा रही हूँ, तुम चलना चाहोगी? सो आई सेड मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. सो शी सेड कि बस मेरे पीछे पीछे चलती आना, किसी किसी से कोई बात करने की जरूरत नहीं है, तुम आना चाहती हो तो मैं ले जाऊँ. So that's what she said, and she took me, and I didn't ask for any arms, but I just observed her. I walked around. I came down, and I was feeling uncomfortable. So I told her, "दीदी मुझे ठीक नहीं लग रहा है." So she said, "आप बेटा वहाँ जाके बैठो, मैं आती हूँ कुछ देर में." She came back in 15 minutes or something, and then she said, "अब क्या करोगी?" I said, "कुछ नहीं दीदी, बस वापस जाऊंगी शायद." So she said, "चलो मेरे घर खाना खाओ." I was initially in a bit of doubt if I should go or not, but I just trusted her, and I went on a scooty with her. It was her scooty. She took me to her house. There were around 7 to 8 trans women, the third gender, at the place, and they made me a good meal. I had tea. I interacted a lot with them. They were really happy that someone who's educated, someone who's doing well in life, uh, could probably transition and be the face of them. And that is, I would say, that is something which has also pushed me to take the decision that there's nothing wrong in doing in what I'm doing. And if I'm doing well in my life, if I can make a difference in the world, if I can motivate people, if I can be the guiding light to someone's life, I think I've done most of my job in the life. So so there is no difference, I would say. Like good and bad, good, bad and ugly are everywhere. People need to
Very true.
understand that people need to understand that uh, someone who is born as a boy and who considers himself a boy and who's living the life of a boy, he may be as poisonous as a snake. Someone who's born as a girl and living the life of a girl who feels like a girl might again be as poisonous as the same two people. So
True.
I think marginalizing a particular community is not the right thing. We must understand that education is very important. So definitely, if the education is spread in a much better manner, I think the world would be a better place. People will understand things.
Absolutely. We have Divya Didi who's joined us on YouTube. She's made two comments. Parents are made to believe certain stuff that gets embedded in their subconscious mind. After certain age, their mind turns ignorant to knowledge, and learning they feel what they know is that's all. I think she thinks that things will change when the education system refines the definition and education system on gender, sexuality, and add third gender. I completely agree. Education plays a very important role. Awareness, knowledge sharing definitely plays a very important role. And that's one of the intent that Motherhood Club is trying to bring in different aspects of life, because everything is real. You can't ignore these things. These are real people. We have a real person sitting in front of us who's sharing the journey. And I would say, Nana, that you have been fairly lucky with relatively less struggles and challenges as compared to many others. But I'm glad that you are contributing to bring about a change in the community. You're trying to voice your opinion and create awareness amongst people. So, if I asked you that, when you transited your job, was it at stake at that time? Was there resistance that you experienced from the corporate world, or they were receptive to you continuing with the work that you were doing?
No, I hadn't opened up to them. I just wanted a new start. I wanted to start afresh. I wanted something closer to the heart. So that's what forced me to leave the job. I shifted to a new place. I uh, I had a new life, I would say. I just started afresh. And one more thing, you just mentioned that there are people who go through a lot of struggle and all. I still keep getting messages on the social media about, from people like me who keep asking me. I feel like being a girl. I feel like dressing up in a girl's clothes. I feel like a woman trapped in a in a man's body, and I don't know what to do. See, 90% of the problems that we face in our life are created by us. If we see something as a problem, it is a problem. If we see something uh, as a small hurdle, it is a small hurdle. If we see it as a mountain, it is a mountain. So I think people should be much more forthcoming in accepting the problems in their life and move on. That's the biggest thing. If you are strong enough to take on a challenge, there's nothing in the world that can stop you. I've had people aged 28, 29 messaging me saying, I don't know what to do. So this is like really like Either someone is trying to play with you, or someone is just too confused about life. At the age of 28, I had already started transitioning without anyone's help. So I feel people should be more forthcoming in what they want, and problems will keep on coming. Problems is a part of life. Problems are a part of life, and um, if someone has the strength to face a problem, to say in the face of a problem that you're nothing big, then I think they can easily sail through.
Absolutely. I think it's the acceptance and the change in the mindset that's perhaps the game changer for everyone. It is not dependent on the gender. It is just dependent on the individual, the human, that how strong you are mentally, emotionally, physically, to be able to accept that change, because change is the only thing which we run away from. And I think, in the current times, for the last 1.5, 2 years, we've all, been through many changes in our workspace, in our life, in our personal space. But the only thing that has got people to keep moving ahead is their acceptance, their shift in mindset, and the resilience that they have, and to convert a challenge into an opportunity. Yes, I would say easier said than done. It takes a lot to actually come out to the world and tell them that, look, I am actually this, but not that. And I think, Nana, hats off to you for actually looking in the mirror and seeing that person and giving birth to that person. So, before I let you go today, any message that you would like to convey to all our viewers who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube? And thank you so much, everyone who's been here watching, leaving your comments, and who would watch this conversation at a later point in time between Nana and me. What would you like to convey a message to the society at large?
Firstly, a message for the community. Um, if you're a part of the LGBTQ plus community, don't be afraid. You're not alone. You're not abnormal. You're absolutely normal. There's nothing bad or harmful about you. You are just a normal human being. Just concentrate on your own life. Life will take you to the place that you want yourself to see, you want yourself to be in. So stay confident. Don't let anyone bully you, or don't let anyone try to degrade you. Always let your actions in academics and probably learning skills or sports, let these things give the reply to the people who have been bullying you. The like the people who used to bully me, or people who never used to be nice with me, I think they probably owe me an apology now. I'm doing much better than them. I'm in a part-time ad hoc jobs. I'm in part-time ad hoc jobs, multiple jobs, but still I'm earning much more than them. So I would say I'm in a much better position. I'm much happier. I'm much satisfied. I'm content, and uh, this is where this is how you give a reply to someone. Don't don't uh, don't be angry, don't be fed up of your life. Life is really long, and life has a lot of good and bad things that it has to show you. Always remember, if there is good, the bad is about to come, or it can come anytime. Expect it. And if there is bad, it won't last too long. Don't worry, you are going to last. The bad things won't last long. So stay good, stay confident, be good human beings. Always remember that. And something, a message for the people not from the community, a message for parents and other viewers who are watching us. I would say to have more compassion towards uh, all forms of life. I would say not to judge anyone based on their looks, or based on what the person prefers or desires sexually, as well as other things. Not to be judgmental, not to tag a person with a certain set of views. not to be biased with anyone, and be good to everyone. Try to understand the community as a whole community. I mean, if you have someone that you know in the community, I would recommend you to go ahead, speak to the person. uh, no one needs any help from you. We just want acceptance. We just want the same place that you have in the society to be shared with us. And I think people from my community, if we start coming out in a much better manner, if we start getting good positions, that is the only time when we'll be seen. We'll be seen, we'll be known, and we'll not be judged anymore. Once people get used to seeing us doing well, I think that's when people would understand that there is no difference, that it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, or if you're a girl who wants to be a boy, and if you're a boy who wants to be a girl, or you are gender fluid. And people must understand that gender is a wide spectrum. It is not a binary thing that is zeros, that consists of zeros and ones only. It is a wide spectrum. If people have time, they must go to Google, and they must search for the different types of genders that people have. Many people have a confusion between gender and sex. Both are different. Sexual orientation and gender are completely different. So I think people can probably Google it and see it, but they must see the difference between. They must see on YouTube or something. There are many videos that are available that throw proper light on the difference between gender and sexual orientation. So that was my message. I don't know if I was concise. I think I just went haywire.
No, no, absolutely not. You've conveyed your message, and I think you've highlighted some important aspects that people need to stop being judgmental. People need to understand before they actually start commenting on someone, and acceptance is something that everybody looks for. I think it's irrespective of the gender. Women are trying to find acceptance in the society that yes, we can do something. Men are trying to justify themselves for some of their acts. So that, I think that fight is on for everyone, and I think that is why whenever one talks about diversity and inclusion, perhaps we are far far away from reality. And it's only when we bring these conversations out, be it at Motherhood Club or any other platform, and we talk about the actual meaning of inclusiveness, the actual meaning of diversity, and what diversity and inclusiveness together means. Perhaps people will understand. And I think a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of people need to come out in the open and talk about these things. Only then the mindset will change. I do see a difference. I do see some changes happening. The acceptance is a little better than what it used to be, but I think we still have a far way to go. And it's indeed lovely to see that a lot of you are also coming in the glamorous world and trying to convey a message that you know we do look glamorous. We are into fitness. We are in the making of a model, and we are someone who are educating ourselves, and I want to make a difference in the society. So thank you so much, Nana, for sharing your journey with us, and for making us understand your viewpoint about being a trans woman, about the LGBTQ community, and in general, a perspective that you have as an educated person who's trying to make a difference to the society at large. And we really hope and pray that there is definitely acceptance from all those people who at one point in time were perhaps in love with you, and more and more people accept you as Nana and see the actual you that you actually are. So thank you so much everyone for joining in at the Motherhood Club talk show. We were in conversation with Naina Menon, who's a trans woman who believes in accepting who she really is, who doesn't believe in living a life of pretense, and is vocal to talk about it, to let people know that We need to accept. We need to live a life that is ours and not someone else's. So, thank you, everyone. Take care. We will
Thank you so much,
soon be
Ekta,
back
and
again.
thank you, viewers.
Thank you so much.
It's
And we will be
wonderful
back.
interacting with you.
Same here. Thank you so much. So, everyone, wish you all a very happy Lodi and Makar Sankranti.
Yeah.
Enjoy the festival and stay safe. Don't forget to wear your mask. The cases have been on the rise, and we would urge each one of you to stay at home and avoid going out as much as you can. Protect yourself and your loved ones. We will be back again with yet another interesting and powerful conversation very soon. We will share the details with you. Till then, take care. Signing off, this is Ekta Sehgal Malhotra, founder and chief strategy officer, Motherhood Club. Everyone, take care. Thank you so much. Thank you, Naina.
Thank you.
Thank you.